In celebration of Museums and Galleries Month 2023, we embark on a journey to explore the captivating world of the cultural preservation and heritage repatriation. Our theme this year: Exhibits and Reflections, Crafting Opportunities for the New World, leads us to a remarkable Filipino-German on a mission. Did you know that there are many Philippine cultural materials and artifacts displayed in German museums? One example of these Filipino artifacts can be observed at the Fünf Kontinente Museum in Munich. Let us learn about the extraordinary quest of Vanessa Obermair, a second-generation Filipino-German, as she shares her unwavering dedication to bringing back Philippine cultural treasures to their rightful home.
So, hi everyone. I'm Vanessa. I studied comparative cultural studies and study of religion in Marburg at the Philipps University. And I'm into museum work, and I'm especially interested in provenance research. And I'm also a Filipino-German. I was born and raised in a small town near Munich in Bavaria. So, as I said, I'm into museum work, and I'm particularly interested in collections and objects from colonial contexts. And for my master thesis, I wanted to deal with an object from the Philippines, or which is somehow connected with the Philippines. I remember visiting the Museum Fünf Kontinente in Munich, which was the first ethnological museum I visited as a child. I think I was like 12 years old. And there in the Oceania exhibition, there was a wooden human-looking figure with the short information Anito, Ifugao, Northern Luzon, Philippines, before 1883. And I can remember that I was totally fascinated because it was the first Filipino object that I have seen in a German museum to that time. I was only a teenager, so my interest and my possibilities were limited. And short time later, I totally forgot about the Anito figure. Almost 20 years later, I was talking to the curator of the Oceania exhibition because I was looking for a object for my research project. And then she told me about this figure again, and I remembered and I thought, wow, this is perfect. This is the perfect case, and I want to deal with this figure and its history. Yeah, I learned a lot about the figure by referring to literature and talking to the curators. But then soon I realized that I couldn't get to the important informations, you know, for example, the right name or the right society of origin, the real meaning of the object, because there's clearly a lack of information when it comes to local knowledge. So yes, after my study, I decided to travel to Northern Luzon and find out more about the figure on the field by talking to the people there. And yeah, I would say this was the beginning of my journey. First of all, provenance research is about asking about the origin of objects. It is mainly about clarifying the circumstances of acquisition and ownership. And colonial provenance research is a reassessment of the fact, so I would say it is a reassessment of the fact that many ethnological collections were founded during the European expansion from 17th century on. So the contact with non-European societies to that time was growing, and also the interest for them and their material goods increased. And in all this time, there were thefts and extortion, unfair trade, and also violent disposition. And for many objects, it is unclear how they have been brought to Europe and under which circumstances. So because collectors at the time, they weren't that interested in the real meaning of objects and their producers. So there's hardly any information about most of the objects. And I would say provenance research is or tries to address this and find new approaches to deal with such objects and collections. And it also involves putting the relationship between source societies and museums on a new foundation. And this also includes cooperations with individuals and institutions of the countries. I guess the access for us second generation Filipino-Germans is different, of course, in both directions. And for me, it is also very important that such objects are presented in an appropriate way, because they are supposed to represent Filipino culture and its diversity. I think Filipino-Germans have important inputs when it comes to changing things or finding new approaches or solutions. They can be mediators. Yeah, I believe they can help changing perspectives, not only in the museum sector. Easy topic, to be honest, especially because there are often contradictions here. So people often contrast progress on the other hand, on the other side, and tradition. And so one example is Banaue. I have to think about Banaue with the rice terraces that has been declared as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. And the city looked completely different 20 years ago. Everything changed because of the tourism. And there are people who complain that the city is becoming more and more modern and inviting for tourists. And they think that the original culture is like being lost as a result. But I don't think so. I think every culture has the right to change, because that's what cultures do. They change, they react to external influences. First of all, it needs more networking, more attention, more media attention, more participation. Yeah, like to find new ways of collaboration between individuals, like, for example, direct descendants of the producers, initiatives, institutions, or different interest groups. So I think that would be a good start. I would say it is always super important and to reconnect with their own roots. I personally hope for more attention regarding the Filipino material heritage in Germany. And in terms of provenance research, I hope for more transparency and participation. And I think the second generation Filipino-Germans are playing an important role in this process. So yeah, I would just say let's continue to work together to ensure that the cultural gems that get their history back and also their meaning.
As we celebrate Museums and Galleries Month 2023, let us remember the profound impact that individuals like Vanessa Obermair are making in crafting opportunities for a new world. Through their unwavering dedication, they ensure that the echoes of our past resonate with the promise of our future.